I got to ask you about the possible ending to the USC Notre Dame rivalry that has been making its rounds since Pat Forty talked about it a couple days ago. It's all over radio stations, it's all over X. People have their opinions and talking about it. Me being a Notre Dame fan, I have my opinions on it, which I'll share. But you being an outsider and from the South, just looking at that rivalry, the longest intersectional rivalry in the country, what are your thoughts on stuff like that, this happening in college football?
Well, as a fan of the sport, I hate it. That's two brands, a long-time traditional rivalry. If you're a traditionalist of the sport, I'm a little bit of a mixture of a traditionalist and a modernist when it comes to the sport. But especially with the rivalries, like, dude, USC Notre Dame needs to play year in and year out. We got the backyard brawl the last few years. Games like that, true rivalries. The fact that we don't have Bedlam right now between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, like that's what separates the sport, the passion, the pageantry, the bitter rivalries that we have in college football. That's what separates the sport from any other sport in collegiate athletics or in the pro sports. And so losing a game like that with two brands like that, it would be awful. Truly would be. And I mean, I know you've got your thoughts on it. I haven't taken a deep dive into where this is all coming from. I've seen people saying that it's not coming from Notre Dame side, that it's mostly coming from USC side. If that is true, I'm going to say this about it. Most probably would think that I would pile up on Lincoln Riley and USC here with what I'm saying. I have seen a lot of the Big Ten non-conference schedules over the last few years. You've seen Michigan that has actually challenged themselves and played Texas. You saw Ohio State. They're about to play Texas as well. But let me give you an example like Penn State. If you're a Penn State fan, or if you have anything to do with Penn State football, and you're looking at this and acting like that USC is a coward or USC is just trying to run from competition, you need to miss me with that and sit this one out. Because I've looked at your non-conference schedule this year, and it's a joke. And it's a joke most years, to be honest with you. Hey, real quick, look at the bottom of this screen and hit that subscribe button for us, please. And also follow us on Apple and Spotify. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it helps us out a ton. We greatly appreciate it. So the fact that USC now is playing non-conference games in the Big Ten and playing the teams that they're playing year in and year out, I'm sure that they may not, from a competition standpoint of wins and losses and making a playoff and things like that. Yeah, I don't know that they necessarily just want to jump in the ring with a top tier program like what Notre Dame is now under Marcus Freeman. But I will admit that does sound cowardly. Okay. We're about competition here, and you should want to step up and play in these big games and play in the biggest games possible. But I will say one more thing about this. We've preached on this podcast many times about how the college football playoff committee, or whoever it is that decides going forward who's going to be in a 12-team playoff, 16-team playoff, however many damn teams are going to be in the playoffs, they need to factor in truly teams that challenge themselves with their schedule, and especially reward teams that are playing a tough non-conference schedule. Because rewarding teams that just because they've got more wins, they've got 11 wins and so-and-so's got 10 wins, so that means that this team over here with 11 wins is better than the team with 10 wins, is truly not the case, usually. That team with 10 wins might have played number 3 Notre Dame in a non-conference game, while Team A over here with 11 wins played Akron. And obviously, USC more than likely would beat Akron. Sorry, Akron, I know you're catching some strays here. But that's just the way I feel about it. As a traditionalist and a modernist and as a fan of college football, no, I don't want to see that game go away.
Yeah, I mean, my question is, why is it coming out now with all the chatter about the 16-team playoff and the AQs? It's that game is not a conference game. So really all that matters is if you're in the Big Ten, getting in the top 4, right? So why now are they talking about ending the rivalry? If really we've talked about how, these non-conference games, while they're going to be awesome to watch, and, if you got 3 at-large spots, they'll be valuable, but in the long run, you're talking about just finishing in the top 4 of the Big Ten. So what does it matter if you play Notre Dame, you go to South Bend in the middle of October, you lose by a field goal? Like, what's it going to matter?
Now, it's a good point, because if you do lose that game and still finish in the top 4, like, it's not going to count against you.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And maybe it's just a factor of, too, that like USC or whoever that would go through this and try to weaken their non-conference schedule. Maybe it's like, we want to give ourselves even more of a chance here to pick up one of those AQ bids. Because, again, unfortunately, people will say with their mouths, the committee and stuff will say that we want you to challenge yourselves. We reward people who actually play a tougher schedule. We have not seen that yet.
Yeah.
We haven't. They say that
standardized strength of schedule needs to become a thing. There needs to be a standardized metric. We all agree on that.
Yep, agreed. So until that's the case, then yeah, like I don't necessarily blame teams for wanting to look. They already know, USC already knows they're going to be playing like some sort of a schedule that includes the Oregons, Penn States, Ohio States, Michigans, whatever, in some little order. And now obviously Coach Siggs at Indiana, what they're doing, Burt Bielema at Illinois, what they're doing, PJ Fleck at Minnesota. Like there's a lot of the Big Ten is deeper and deeper year after year, it seems like right now. And so, yeah, challenging yourself with a big-time non-conference game like that, that's I don't know how much you get rewarded for that. But you made a great point there on the 4-team, as far as 4 teams, automatic qualifiers in the Big Ten and 4 in the SEC, that as long as you finish in the top 4 in your conference, then you're going to get a playoff bid.
Well, my question is, too, is like, you look at their schedule, and with the 18 teams in the Big Ten, you're playing half the team. You're playing 9 games, right? So you're playing a little over half the teams. They haven't played Ohio State either of the first 2 years, which is mind-boggling. But you look at their schedule this year. I mean, they've got Michigan, they've got Oregon, they got UCLA. You take Notre Dame off that schedule, like those are the 3 games right there that the fans are only going to care about. They're not going to care about Missouri State or Georgia Southern coming in early September. They're not going to care about Purdue. They're not going to care about Illinois. Like, those aren't long, storied rivalry games like a Notre Dame is. But every time Notre Dame comes to town, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, every 2 years, USC fans will care about that game. I don't understand it. And for my Irish fans out there, yeah, it's another weak move by Lincoln Riley, who literally every chance he gets seems to run away from competition. We all know that that's what he did from the SEC.
Yep. No, I don't disagree. And then obviously all the stuff that came out with them trying to get out of that LSU game, which they ended up winning. They ended up winning that game against LSU, so it ended up being a moot point. But still, the fact is that it was coming out that USC was trying to find their way out of that game against USC in Vegas last year. But I don't look. I'm not defending. It sounds like I guess I am kind of defending USC and Lincoln Riley a little bit. I'm really not. I'm just saying
you feel bad for him because everyone's piling on him for years.
Yeah. I mean, not even feeling bad. Like he's warranting again in a sport where it's the ultimate competition in football. Like when it looks like that you're trying to shy away from competition, and then you do it repeatedly, you bring all that on yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it from the perspective though that in college football right now, as far as right now, like Nick Saban talked about this when they made a 4-team playoff, and then when they expanded. All that people are going to care about anymore going forward is the 12, however many teams in the playoff, getting into that playoff. So what's the best way that you can position yourself to be one of those teams that make it into the playoffs? Is it the best way? Is the best thing for USC to do to make a 12-team or 16 playoff, play Notre Dame in the non-conference? I don't know the answer to that. Probably not. But you made a great point in the 4-team automatic qualifier deal there that playing Notre Dame in the non-conference honestly should definitely not hurt their chances, and it may not have anything to do with it at all.
Yeah.
And the committee should reward them if they do play a number 3 ranked Notre Dame, and it's an absolute just war, said the word, in South Bend or in the LA Coliseum, instead of rewarding so-and-so over here that beats, some lower level G5 team.
Yeah.
But I get it, man. I get why the people are piling up on him about it. I hope that it doesn't happen. That would be a real shame for one of the longest fun rivalries in our sport.
Yeah, same here, man.